got a crazy
Amen, say man. Nawfboyrego, not Bella style, no sir, baby man. You feel me? Hey, in today's reaction video, this is the most evil woman in South Africa. You get what I'm saying? Let's react to this video and let's check it out and see what's the context. What's the context of this video? Road to 1,000 subs, road to 1k subs. You feel me? Road to 1k subs. 100 likes. Give the video 100 likes. Give the video 200 likes. You feel me? Let's get into the video without wasting no freaking time.
Story. It's not necessarily a cool story. This one is absolutely insane, dark, but it's a story that at least every South African needs to know. It's like a real life horror movie. Today, we are going to be talking about the most evil cult in South African history. And no, I'm not talking about Blue Bull supporters. Sorry.
The evil cult, bro. Evil cult in South Africa, bro. What the freaking hell?
Joke. I'm gonna get cancelled now. People are gonna cancel me for this. But this one is actually sorry, Blue Bulls supporters. Sorry, I know you probably will hate me now. But anyway, this is actually a story we shouldn't joke about. This is a really messed up and disturbing sequence of events that took place in South Africa. Today we're going to be talking about the Krugersdorp cult, also known as the Krugersdorp killers. However, they were
the Krugersdorp killings explain who was murdered, how, and why, and the many members of the so-called Krugersdorp killers. Oh my god, bro. Krugersdorp, bro. Why am I
a series of crimes between 2012 and 2016, including fraud, robbery, and
this seems terrifying.
Let's just say eliminating people, terrorizing mainly the town of Krugersdorp, which is not far from Johannesburg. I believe about an hour or two away from Johannesburg. And you know, from the outside, this group of people seemed like a normal group of friendly, Bible reading individuals. You know, they just wanted to do some Bible study together. However, secretly behind closed doors, they believed that they were chosen by God above the law and justified in doing whatever they want to anyone who stands in their way. And the craziest part of this whole story is when you find out about their insane leader. She must be one of the most evil people.
Yo, you wanna tell me the leader's even a lady, bro? The leader is a lady. So they are basically doing bad things behind closed doors without people knowing, and people think that they are preaching God and all that, whilst they are not doing that, bro.
Ever come out of South Africa, you'll see
whilst they are not
crazy,
doing
much darker than it seems. We're going to get into
nothing
all of that
to even
today.
the
Ethan is excited for this video because he knows quite a bit about the Krugersdorp killers. We're going to get it's always Krugersdorp, hey Ethan.
It's always Krugersdorp.
I don't understand what is happening in Krugersdorp, but it's always Krugersdorp. I swear, I've
never been to Krugersdorp though.
Krugersdorp. It's insane. Anyway, so she lived in Krugersdorp and she decided one day she wanted to join a Bible study, but not for pure reasons at all. She signed up to a religious group called Overcomers Through Christ, and she told them she joined because she believed she needed to be delivered from Satanism. And so, you know, they took her in, they prayed for her, they tried to make her feel welcome, and she became part of the group. However, the thing with Cecilia and most cult leaders is they want control. So this wasn't good enough for her. She wanted to control the group. She wanted to be the leader. And ultimately, this led to a lot of conflict with the group's actual leader, a woman named Ria Groenewald. And so Cecilia decided to eventually leave the group and form her own religious group. And she called it, as we mentioned earlier, Electus per Deus, which means chosen by God. How vain to call yourself chosen by God. Anyway, in fact, she actually took some of the members with her that were part of the Overcomers Through Christ group. So this was like a splinter group that went away from the main group and they formed their own group. And these people that she took with her would eventually become her followers who would do literally anything for her. It's actually crazy. So this includes a husband and a wife named literally anything for her.
Krugersdorp killers, 38, 51, 23, 36. Yo.
It's actually
This, they say the daughter of Marinda Stein, a straight A student. She was only 14 years. The son of Marinda, John worked for Peter and John Mayer. Zach befriended Cecilia, a high school teacher in Krugersdorp, a self-proclaimed child psychologist. What
Crazy.
the
So this
freaking hell is this, though?
includes a husband and a wife named Zach and Michaela
Mm.
Valentine. Remember them for later, gets crazy. And another woman who joined Cecilia was Marinda Stein. That's the English way of saying it. The Afrikaans way is probably like Marinda Stein, but I'm English, so sorry to the Afrikaans people for botching that. Anyway, so Marinda joined Cecilia's cult as well as her two children. So you had Cecilia Stein at the top.
So the children are involved into this whole thing. How do you involve your kids in such a, oh my god,
as the
bro?
mastermind. Zach
Some
Valentine
things
was sort of the second in command that would do anything for
just,
her, and his wife was also in the group. And then there was Marinda Stein, who was also a school teacher, by the way, and then Marinda's two kids, Marcel Stein and LaRue Stein. They were only teenagers during this period, and they would
okay.
go on to commit the horrific crimes we would see later. Teenagers were part of this. It's insane. So Cecilia Stein was manipulative, charismatic, and deeply dangerous. She claimed to have spiritual powers, divine visions, and direct communication with God. Her followers believed she could see demons, predict events, and decide who deserved to live and who deserved to not live. Also, another interesting thing about Cecilia Stein was she was actually the wife of a policeman and the mother of two. But what's really interesting is, as you'll see throughout this story, Cecilia Stein did a lot of crazy stuff while she was married to her husband. And when this all came out in court, the husband said that he had no idea she was doing this stuff and that they were living similar lives. How do you not know that your wife is a cult leader? That's what I want to know. Anyway, so Cecilia convinced her new followers that they were warriors in a spiritual war, and that in a spiritual war, any kind of action was justified. So yeah, what happens next is just crazy. So this new group led by Cecilia Stein decided to launch a series of attacks against their old Bible study group. How bitter do you have to be to launch literal attacks against people because of clickiness or whatever? That is just a grudge on a whole new level. So it started with, and you can imagine if it starts like this, how bad it actually gets. So Cecilia's group decided to build a whole bunch of, things that go boom, and they put them underneath the cars of the congregants and members of the Overcomers Through Christ group as an act of intimidation. Thankfully, they, on this specific occasion, which was in 2012, they didn't detonate because the group was spotted and fled. However, a few weeks later, they started a fire and broke windows at a church, and I'm assuming it was the church where the Overcomers Through Christ group had their gatherings. Anyway, so this went on for a couple of weeks, if not
so they banned the church, bro. What is
months of intimidation, and then eventually the group decided to take it up a new level. Intimidation wasn't enough. So remember the guy we mentioned
12. Not such a
of
bad
their previous Bible study group, the same Overcomers Through Christ
Oh,
group. Now what's interesting
shit.
is, again, Cecilia Stein didn't do this herself. She asked two of her followers to carry out the crimes for her. So they were so angry at their old Bible study group that Cecilia was like, go and take out this woman. We're going to seek revenge, a whole new level of revenge. And that's what they did. And what's even worse is the way they
Nah, this is such an evil woman, bro. She's so evil, bro.
got rid
This is the most evil woman, bro. Imagine in South Africa, bro.
of her. We can't share the gory details on here, but let's just say it involved sharp objects, how they eliminated her. And yes, during this attack, they also eliminated a friend of this woman. And the same year, in August 2012, the Valentines dressed up as police officers, and apparently they were able to get the uniforms because Cecilia Stein, remember, was married to a police officer. And they entered the home of a pastor and they eliminated him with an axe. Insane. His name was Pastor Ben Dixon, a friend and mentor of Ria Groenewald, who, remember, is the leader of the Overcomers Through Christ group. And there's two things that are interesting here. One is,
bro, why are they doing that to people, bro? Why are they doing that to people? I don't really understand, bro. Were they doing this for something in exchange, or wow? How do you feel taking out someone, bro? How do you feel taking out someone? Like just taking off someone, just how does that make you
Why
feel?
weren't they actually going for Ria Groenewald herself? Why were they trying to take out people around her? Or maybe it was to scare her, or maybe there were too many eyes on her and they were worried they would be caught. Yeah, again, another interesting thing is how Cecilia wasn't carrying out these crimes necessarily herself. She was instructing her followers to. It reminds me a lot of Charles Manson in America. If you're not familiar with that case, he also led a very destructive cult, and he got them to do crimes for him. And I believe he never actually ended up doing any of the crimes himself. He just got his followers to. So Cecilia Stain actually reminds me a lot of Charles Manson, which is really interesting. Anyway, so the group had now started to murder people, which is crazy. 3 people at this point. And Michaela Valentine, the wife of Zach, the second in command, she was the only one who actually got a conscience at this point. And she was like, I don't want to be part of this cult, which is taking people out. This is messed up and evil. I want to leave. And Ethan, how can you guess they responded to that?
I don't think they must have liked it. Probably, yeah, you tell us.
So obviously Cecilia, they didn't like this and they decided to get rid of her, if you know what I mean. By this point, the murders are starting to stack up quite a bit.
Nah, bro. How many people did they take out, though? How many people did they take out? No, bro. Let me just go back, bro.
Her, if you know what I mean. By this point,
Nah. What, bro? Like 7 people, bro. They murdered 7 people, bro. 4 in the same year.
Messed up. Anyway, so some time went by and
at 14 years old, bro. At 14 years old, and your mother is making you do these evil things to people who have done nothing to you. Nah, this woman is evil, bro. This is the most evil woman I have heard of. This is so outrageous,
as
bro.
this group was starting to
bro.
run out of money. So initially what started as a group, which was meant to just seek revenge, now they actually wanted to financially
look at that picture
from this
too.
group. I think especially Cecilia Stain.
They look like some rock stars or some
Valentine,
shit.
He had already contributed about 2 million rand of his own money to the group, even borrowing money from his parents and his in-laws. Meanwhile, he just had his wife taken out knowingly. I'm assuming he knew about it. But yeah, the point was the group was running out of money and the group had to take some action to get some money. And what they did next is absolutely insane. So first they infiltrated the home of a man who they believed was wealthy named Peter Mayer, and they tied him and his wife up and demanded money. When they said they don't have money, they got rid of them. And the next trick they tried to pull was by faking Zach Valentine's death for the life insurance payout of 3.5 million. Obviously, around Zach Valentine, they need money. And so they crashed his car and put his car on fire, and then they took a guy off the street, eliminated him, and put him in the car so people would think it's Zach Valentine who died in.
Whoa, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute.
Murders. So they would set up fake appointments with different people, like maybe it was a job interview, or I believe some of these people were also like financial advisors. So they would find these financial advisors online and they'd say, can we meet with you? And then once they got them alone, they would pull the same trick, take them to an ATM, demand money. Once they get that person's money, they would get rid of them. In total, between 2012 and 2016, they got rid of 11 people. They killed 11 people. Very tragic. And eventually how they got caught was the families of the victims started to get suspicious of this group. And police started to notice a trend that all these victims, more often than not, this cult actually knew them in some way. So they started to connect the dots and they traced the money. And then they were arrested in 2016. You see, when you're in a cult, you are so oblivious to what you're actually doing, believe it or not. It sounds crazy, but that's what psychologists say about cults. You're so oblivious to what you're actually doing. However, when these members were finally separated from Cecilia Stein, they started to open up to the investigators. So Cecilia told them that the victims that they eliminated were demons, that God commanded them to do all this stuff. As we mentioned earlier, that they were in a spiritual war, and that they also said basically that Cecilia had told them to do all these crazy crimes. In 2019, the main members of this group were convicted. Let's run through their sentences very quickly. The two youngest, LaRue Stein, one of the teenagers, he testified and received a reduced sentence of 35 years. His sister Marcel got 7 life sentences. Mirinda Stein got 11 life sentences. Zach Valentine, second in command, got 8 life sentences. And the main woman, Cecilia, got 13 life sentences.
This is the worst case I've presided over in my 18 years on the bench.
Now, this story doesn't end here. Not long ago, in fact, about a year or two ago, Cecilia actually was allegedly caught trying to break out of prison. Cecilia actually...
Ancient of days. Look at that tattoo. Look at that tattoo on her neck. All of this, bro. How is she managing to do all of this, bro? Nah, bro. This is crazy, gang. What the freaking hell is this, bro? This gotta be the biggest, not even biggest murder, bro. One of the biggest murders in SA.
To try and actually get out of the prison. The prison themselves and authorities denied these allegations. However, she apparently had a pretty elaborate plot. According to one source in the prison, Cecilia had been planning an escape for quite some time, and the plan was allegedly to pay someone to put something into the food to make all the prisoners sick, and then that would hopefully take them into a specific part of the prison where they would carry out their plot. However, this plot was foiled and she is still in prison. So yeah, this is an insane story. Ethan, what do you think about this? This is crazy, eh?
Yeah, I just want to know what Bible translation they're using.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's the Satanist Bible translation. I don't know. But yeah, Ethan, you watch videos. Did I miss any interesting details?
Not that I know of. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Krugersdorp is a crazy place.
Krugersdorp. I've been there. I enjoyed it there. It was cool. The people are
nice. It's crazy.
I didn't meet these people though. But anyway, that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We really appreciate it.
Hey man, hey, show some love, bro. Show some love to your boy, Nawfboyrego, Nawfboylifestyle. You get what I'm saying? Hit that sub button, man. Hit that sub button right now. I need those subs. You feel me? More videos are coming, bro. Comment down below. Wow, what's your thoughts on the reaction video? Comment down below and tell me what's your thoughts on the video. And like the video, show some love, man. Hit that sub button right now.